I don't think this one's going to fit in a minute. I'm supposed to read to you today from the book of Zechariah. We're going to start with chapter 7, verse 14, and then we're going to move on into chapter 8. And I'm going to read till he tells me to stop. It's a word for the here and now. There's nothing new under the sun. That means mankind is going to just keep repeating the cycle until we get it right. And the church gets the job accomplished that God has for us to do. And once that is accomplished, he will send Jesus for us. The coming days, I don't know. Something's coming, you guys. Something's been building and building. Evil tried to push its hand. God's fixing to put it to a stop. In the meantime, Zechariah chapter 7, we're going to start with 14 and read on into 8. But I will scatter them with a whirlwind among all the nations, whom they know not, and who know not them. Thus the land was desolate after they had gone, so that no man passed through or returned. For they, the Jews, by their sins, had caused to be laid waste, and forsaken the pleasant land, the land of desire. And the word of the Lord of hosts came to me, saying, Thus says the Lord of hosts, I am jealous for Zion with great jealousy, and I am jealous for her with great wrath against her enemies. Thus says the Lord, I shall return to Zion, and will dwell in the midst of Jerusalem, and Jerusalem shall be called the faithful city of truth, and the mountains of the Lord of hosts, the holy mountain. Thus says the Lord of hosts, old men and old women shall again dwell in Jerusalem, and sit out in the streets, every man with his staff in his hand, for very advanced age. And the streets of the city shall be full of boys and girls playing in its streets. Thus says the Lord of hosts, because it will be marvelous in the eyes of the remnant of this people in those days in which it comes to pass, should it also be marvelous in my eyes, says the Lord of hosts? Thus says the Lord of hosts, Behold, I will save my people from the east country, and from the west, the country of the going down of the sun. And I will bring them home, and they shall dwell in the midst of Jerusalem, and they shall be my people, and I will be their God, in truth and faithfulness and in righteousness. Thus says the Lord of hosts, Let your hands be strong and hardened, for who in these days hear these words from the mouth of the prophets, who on the day that the foundation of the house of the Lord of hosts was laid foretold that the temple should be rebuilt. For before those days there was no hire for man, nor any hire for beast, neither was there any peace or success to him who went out or came in, because of the adversary and oppressor. For I let loose all men, every one against his neighbor. But now, in this period, since you began to build, I am not to the remnant of this people, as in the former days, said the Lord of hosts. For there shall the seed produce peace and prosperity. The vine shall yield her fruit, and the ground shall give its increase, and the heavens shall give their dew, and I will cause the remnant of the people to inherit and possess all these things. He's coming, y'all. The world's fixing to realize there is a God, and he loves us. Those who will be suffering because of choices they've made not to follow God, we're going to help them find their way over. And then Jesus is coming. It won't be long. Hold fast, church. We have a job to accomplish. Unprecedented days ahead.